to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to have with me the president of Top Rank, TODD DeBOEUF. Todd, firstly, welcome back to London. How are we doing?
I love it here. I think I never want to leave. I'm just going to stay here.
I'm sure you got a penthouse apartment somewhere here.
I wish I did.
Todd, it's back again. It's fight week for this historic event on Saturday night. What are you expecting to see?
You know, I think we're going to see a historic night, first of all, and we're going to see in the two featured bouts incredible passion, incredible ability, and real exciting talent, where these girls are going to really throw down. And I think that we've seen a lot of hype from them. You haven't heard hype from me or Ben or Bob. We don't need to hype this. These girls are amazing. They're real. They're telling the truth. There's a lot of bitterness. And I think that makes it very spicy.
How difficult was it for the girls, do you think? Obviously 4 weeks ago, circumstances that happened, obviously it's not normal with the Queen passing away. They almost have to reset completely. I know 3 of the 4 fighters left the UK, went back to the States, so you're almost going back to American time zone, coming back, you're in your peak condition, now you're not in your peak, now you got to almost reset. How do you think their mindsets at now?
Well, I mean, I think the mind is one thing, and I think the body's another. And I think the mental time set of like, hey, I'm ready to go, tick-tock, tick-tock, is one thing. I think the body, as they fine-tune their training, their diet, I mean, jumping on a plane and retaining water and eating crappy airport food and having like dehydration issues, these aren't like the best things. So I think that they had to really just commit themselves to like say, okay, let's have a reset. Let's go for it, and let's start all over again. And I think they had enough of a base that they could start the clock. But I'm telling you, I just flew in yesterday. I feel like crap.
Thankfully, you're not fighting on Saturday night.
Don't throw anything at me, all right?
Everyone's talking about, obviously, Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. But do you feel like Michaela and Alicia could steal the show?
Well, everybody here may be talking about, you know, Clarissa and Savannah. I think that Michaela and Alicia have really like blown up this heated rivalry and been all over social media. And you know, I'm just looking at my social media, not mine, but Top Rank's our accounts, and the amount of views, impressions, and everything we're seeing from their content. It's amazing how much interest there is in them. But they really have a heated dispute going on, and there's a lot of hatred here. So I think they've expressed themselves. They express it sometimes good and sometimes a little screamy at each other, but it's created a lot of interest.
But you've been in the industry a long, long time. Did you ever think one day that we're going to have a boxing fight almost selling out the O2, 20,000 people, and it will be filled with only women?
Yes, I did. You know, I think what we saw, I give Katie a lot of credit. The Olympics that she wins here elevated the whole sport for women, right? And I was in the moment in the United States when women's soccer took off, where the U.S. World Cup, the U.S. team was amazing, tons of interest. So I think we're seeing these things that occur with women that were comparable to men that we never fathomed of. And I think it's going to be more regular than it is going to be exceptions to it.
No, absolutely. Well, Todd, we look forward to a great night of action on Saturday night. Just a couple of updates. Obviously, I know Bob's not going to be here. I think he's going to Australia for Devin Haney. Can you confirm or deny?
I'm not sure. He's not going to go to Australia. He has a personal thing that he's going to be committing to back in Europe in the next couple days. So it was a little too much for him to come back and forth.
Devin Haney obviously takes on Kambosos in the rematch. And I know you want to retain Devin as much as possible. He's made himself almost a free agent where whichever fight suits him the best, he'll go with that particular platform. But do you feel like with Lomachenko coming back out in a couple of weeks that could be the fight for the winner?
I think it's a definite fight that everybody would love to see, and we'd love to put it on. And Loma, you know, he would have had that Kambosos fight, right? But he committed to his country. So I think he wants those titles back, and I think this is on his mission, and I think he wants to fight the winner. It's going to be a real tough fight. I think Kambosos probably didn't show his best last fight, but it's going to, you know, sometimes it's going to be hard, you know, to see if he can take the boxing ability and the speed of Haney, but the winner definitely would love a showdown with Loma.
With the female show on Saturday night, you know, you've got Boxer and Sky working with Top Rank, they're working with Matching with Alicia, they're working with Mick Hennessy with Savannah. Is it important globally that promoters work with each other? We're seeing, you know, people teasing us with a potential Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis fight, but is it important that promoters get together and put politics aside and do what's best for the fighters and the sport?
I mean, I think we've shown that from the beginning. I mean, I think that's just nonsense rhetoric that just kind of played out. I think in the old days, 20 years ago, you saw a lot of that, the gamesmanship. I don't think you see it today. And I think more importantly, I think, you know, it's the ability to make the matches. It's the ability to put down your swords and your fighting and all the nonsense. Stay off of social media and the bickering, right? Unless you just want to do it just to get a rise out of everybody, which seems like that's what people do. But I think to see all these matches get made is important, and I think not be an impediment, right? The sport is so big. The more we all come together, the bigger it's going to be.
It's an update with Tyson Fury. Obviously, everyone was getting excited about potential anti-Joshua's fight, and both camps have come out and said that fight is definitely not happening next. Tyson and everyone is teasing that it potentially could be Derek Chisora next, and I'm not sure there's an appetite from social media that I've seen that they want to see Tyson fight someone like Derek Chisora, someone that he's beaten twice previously very comfortably.
Understood. I mean, I think Tyson wants to fight. And I think when you start looking at his options, I think, you know, listen, I just follow his social media account, and then I decide what we're going to do once I see his social media account, because he tells everybody what he's going to do before he tells us. So, you know, I understand why people would be apprehensive. I think it's a travesty the AJ fight didn't happen. Two big heavyweights, same country, big fan bases. It makes sense. It made sense for that fight to happen. Disappointed, but the only thing I know is Tyson does want to fight before the end of the year.
You talk about being disappointed. It's a travesty that fight didn't happen. We saw a number of years ago when Deontay Wilder was undefeated, Joshua was undefeated, and that fight didn't materialize. And now that fight might not be as big as it once was. Is it important that these fights have to be made now when the time's right, because you just don't know what's going to happen in the future?
Well, I think one of the things that I've been a proponent of is devaluing the loss, right? It doesn't matter if you win or lose, just go for it, right? And if you're really, I mean, Deontay Wilder put on such a performance in losing to Tyson Fury. It's like, how could you not want to watch him? It didn't matter if he wins or loses. He's just, you want to watch a guy that can, you know, take down brick walls, right? And I think AJ and Fury and Usyk and all these fighters today, if it's Loma who risks everything, if it's Haney, if it's Tiafimo, all the fighters, Josh Taylor, just go for it. It doesn't matter what the result is. Go for it. Please the fans. Put on a great fight, and you're going to always have another day. And I think that's kind of where we want to get to. I think UFC and MMA has done a great job with that, devaluing the loss. And I think we're going through that transition. So I think having big brands and big fan bases always give you another opportunity.
No, absolutely. Well, Todd, I appreciate you giving me a few moments of your time. Yeah, let's look forward to a great historic week this week with all the ladies. Let's enjoy it. And yeah, we'll hopefully catch up with you after the fight.
Excellent. Thank you.
TODD DeBOEUF for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.